What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Check to Kick. I'm the host, Devin. Sherdog.com is the website. Coming in off of a semi-lackluster but pretty cool pay-per-view card over the weekend. UFC 304 got a new champion, a interim champion retains. Pretty cool fights to look forward to. UFC Abu Dhabi coming up this weekend. Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov. Umar Nurmagomedov. Feel bad for the UK fans. I will just start the show off with that because a lot of you guys saw your guy lose at about like 6 or 7 in the morning, and that probably sucks. And we're just going to get right into it. First segment of the show, we're going to talk about Belal Muhammad becoming the new welterweight champion of the UFC. And with the new. And then that new is, remember the name, Belal Muhammad. Also, poor guy just can't catch a break. The dude caught a stray from DC like at the end of the fight. And your winner, everyone, a round of applause for Leon Edwards. Belal Muhammad. And then he chases him down, puts the mic back in his face. And at least Belal got DC to say, I've got hands like Canelo now. That was just funny. So good on him for at least, not blowing it. A lot of people have this, and I just want to start the show off with how a lot of people have a lot of hate for Belal Muhammad. I can understand the hate for dudes like Paddy. I can understand the hate for dudes like Ian Gary, but the hate for Belal, tell me in the comments below, shoot me a message. Those are my handles. If you don't like Belal, tell me why. Because I'm just curious to know if you think he's just cringy. Well, then you definitely hate someone like Israel Adesanya or, whatever. I just want to know I don't really understand why people hate Belal. And I don't understand why people think he's this terribly boring fighter. And, it's terrible that Leon Edwards is no longer the champ. Well, newsflash. Watching the tape, I think Leon Edwards is more boring than Belal Muhammad. If you're just talking about what makes a fun fight, at least Belal's out there trying to win him. So good on him. I'm happy for him. He is the first male fighter at 170 pounds or less to win a title at 35 years or older. Tyron Woodley defended his title, but at that time he had already retained the UFC welterweight title. So that's huge. It's 2024 and Belal's doing this shit. It's not like he's doing this in 2004, which would have been still real hard to do. Belal Muhammad just looked great. He had a couple moments, the last 20 seconds or 17 seconds of the fifth round where he got reversed and elbowed and got that cut over his nose. I scored the round for Leon Edwards when that happened. I was doing the live scoring for Sherdog.com. I scored it for Leon, but I was on the fence. And if you're straddling the fence, I would say a little bit more of me goes on the Leon side, only due to the damage. However, if you're scoring the fight as a total, like Pride rules, then you're just scoring the whole fight. But a round like that would, for me, and those under that rule, a scoring rule set would tier more towards Belal. Either way, optically, Belal just kind of ran over Edwards. Edwards had a couple moments in the fight. It's weird because really the only moment Leon had one 15-second desperation Hail Mary where he landed a big elbow that cut Belal, but it wasn't enough to win him the fight. He would have had to shoot Belal with a gun at that point to win that fight, in my opinion. Third round, all he could do was stall. He was able to get back position and get the back and body triangle, but that's all he could do. For all of you guys that hate Aljamain Sterling, another dude that you'll say is boring, well, you better hate Leon Edwards too, because that's exactly what Leon did to win a round of this fight. That was the only way. Leon had to take an advantageous position, take the back, get the body triangle, and literally coast and literally stall. That was the only way he was going to beat Belal in this fight. Belal came, number one, I usually I'm eating a lot of crow on this show. Today I'm not. I mean, I'm going to have to eat some crow with the Paddy Pimblett thing. We're going to actually talk about lightweights and stuff in the middle segment of the show. But I kind of feel like I was just spot on with this. Leon Edwards doesn't do well taking the back foot. He doesn't do well under pressure. His boxing isn't good if he's not able to kick. Belal took all the things that Usman did in the Usman Edwards second fight. He took all the things that Usman did right and just turned it up. Whether it's he had a better game plan, yeah, I think so. Also, too, y'all just need to put some respect on Belal Muhammad's name. Like, the dude he's 36 and getting significantly better at MMA, and nobody does that at welterweight. At 36, dudes are done in this weight class. The only people I can think of that are getting better at MMA approaching 40 years old are light heavyweights, and that is about it. I can think of dudes like Jan Blachowicz, who had a resurgence and won the title at 40, close to 40. Glover Teixeira winning it at 40. And then you look at the current champ there, who's 36, Alex Pereira, who's clearly getting better at MMA. But those dudes are fighting at 205. Those dudes are 6'4" and 6'5" and walk around at about 240 pounds. It's not Belal Muhammad. And Belal Muhammad is fighting a lot better dudes. He's fighting at welterweight. This was kind of, I don't find fights like this boring personally. Number one, because I do a freaking MMA show and I geek out for shit like this. So when I'm watching somebody I don't want to say he pitched a no-hitter, but like he pitched a one-run game. Like he went out there and as the underdog, a 2.5 to 1 underdog. I think he was like around like plus 230, plus 240 when the line closed. So huge heavy favorite. Leon Edwards was not respecting him. They would ask him a question about Belal's game and he would chuckle and say, ha ha ha, that's Belal. Like someone that, he's kind of being a bully. So it's just funny to watch Belal go out there and immediately put him on the back foot. Belal's jab looked really great. He was throwing this triple jab, and I think it was the fourth round, where he threw this triple jab and then feinted the jab and then threw a front hand uppercut. So he pop, 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 feint, and then throw the uppercut right after it. And it just, boom, snapped Edwards' head back. A lot of things that Leon Edwards does when you force him to take the back foot, he kind of does. He's not as bad there as someone like Edson Barbosa or Giga Chikadze, who was on this card. But like he will start doing the kind of, back will hit the cage and then we'll do the sideways gallop where Belal would pressure him to the cage. The second Leon Edwards would try to get out of dodge, Belal would kind of cut the angle and throw a leaping hook to finish his combinations where he's throwing straight punches. If Leon Edwards trying to exit out the side, he's going to leap, close the distance, and make him run into that big hook. He did that. Couple stance switches from Belal as well to close the distance. But his jab and his boxing looked really good. He was landing uppercuts, big check hooks. Also, to sidebar, Bisping shouldn't commentate. I know he's got relationships. He's got the UK accent. He's a UK guy. At this point, he's more of an American than an Englishman at this point, in my opinion. Dude lives in California. He's lived there for many years. And it's just so smelly when he commentates English fighters. He's just so biased. It's hard to listen to. It's really, really hard to listen to, watching this fight. They're both like, Leon Edwards would land one body kick and then Belal would hit him with a jab and then a check hook countering something from Leon. And he's like, nice body kick from Leon. Crickets. So he just shouldn't do that because it's just smelly. Like the whole card, he was extremely biased, and it's number one, if you're blind and you were just listening to the fight, you'd have the wrong idea about what's going on. And number two, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. Back to Belal. He looked fast. Like, he looked faster than Leon. Everybody was like, oh, Leon's going to have the athletic edge here. No. And honestly, it got to the point where, like, he would push Leon up to the cage, hit him with some jabs, feint the jab, and Leon was kind of doing the same thing that, like, Dustin Poirier and Jake Hadley does this too, where they're like, if you're listening to this on audio, he does this like high elbow guard where he'll start blocking punches, like, you know, lift up the elbow. Dustin Poirier does it a lot, but the second he would go to do that, Belal shooting just immediate shot. His shot was really, really great. In the second round where he spiked Leon on top of his head, that definitely had him all out of sorts. Something that Usman could not do. Usman has no BJJ game. And Bilal's back takes, how fast they were. His cage wrestling was just incredible. He won 90% of the grappling exchanges against the cage. He just played hurry up offense this whole entire fight. Once Leon got put on the back foot, he was getting buzzed up by shots. Leon did have some good moments, few and far seldom, in my opinion, on the feet where they were at kicking range, and he landed some nice body kicks. Belal blocked a lot of them. Belal was definitely the smaller dude, but he's fucking ripped. And I don't know if it was the speed or the power or the pressure or all three of those together, but it seemed like Leon was just, anytime Belal would land a 2-punch or more combination, it seemed to immediately fluster Belal. Or sorry, it seemed to immediately fluster Leon, where like it might have buzzed him up, or just kind of like, you know, Leon is a guy that I've always believed this, even though what happened, the tape is the exact contrary, but like, I still believe Leon is a dude that, like, it got to the point in the fourth round where after Leon had that third round, Belal just got that takedown and that back take again. And you just see the look in Leon's eyes. He like takes his deep breath and he's like, I'll live to fight another day. I saw it in him when he fought Usman in their second fight too, where I think Leon can be removed from a fight mentally. And there was Belal was a man possessed. There was no way that was going to happen to Belal last Saturday night, or Sunday morning. The elbow from Leon was great in the fifth round. Also, too, my gosh, Leon's corner just stresses me out. Do you want me to throw like screaming at him? I don't know. He's seems like he's a coach that enjoys the shine a little bit. He was kind of, talking shit to Belal, like in the elevator and stuff. I don't know. There's just got that same energy as Cyril Gane's head coach, Belal looked like the world champion that night. Leon Edwards looked like a challenger that was not ready for the moment. I really hate that after the fight, Leon Edwards was saying that, this whole week I've been tired. Like, the second they put a mic in front of him, he said he was too tired. Dude, you had months to figure this out. And I just don't like when fighters make an excuse immediately after the fight, because it just takes the shine. And it's now I'm talking about it. Media is talking about it. People are talking about it. Well, I do agree with Leon. Maybe it was early for Belal too. It was early for Tom Aspinall. It was early for Paddy Pimblett. It was early for Mick Parkin. Everyone that finished, it was early for them too. It was also early for Curtis Blaydes. It was also early for Bobby Green. Well, we're not saying that Bobby Green got triangled to sleep and his arm broken because it was really early in the morning. So let's not use that excuse. Belal came with a very intelligent game plan. He said that Khabib gave him the game plan, that he did the tape study and gave him the game plan on what to do. It's funny because DC stated during the commentary, this kind of looks like Khabib. Yeah, dude, you know this. This is they've trained together. They're very close friends. And when it comes to tape studying and game planning, Mike Valley and his current new team over there, he's left Rufus Sport. It seems like you pair that with, Eagle MMA and team and Khabib's team, and you also pair that with Belal's clear athleticism, physicality, his coachability, and how good of a fighter he is. And this is what you get, a guy that can stick to a game plan. Belal, again, is one of those fighters. He's got that GSP in him where he knows how to stick to a game plan. He knows what to do to win a fight. He's like on an 11-fight win streak now. And what are they going to say? They're always going to come up with an excuse. Gilbert's arm was broken. Vincente Luque, blah, blah, blah. Well, this one, what's the excuse for this? Is it the early morning? What's it going to be? What's next for Belal Muhammad? He's going to have to fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. And I'm just going to say this now. I'm probably going to pick Shavkat to beat Belal Muhammad, but I didn't count Belal Muhammad out, but I'm telling you, if you're listening to this, don't be one of those people. Don't just count Belal Muhammad out of a fight because people make fun of him on Twitter. Don't, because you may look like a fool. Got to be Shavkat. I think he's fighting Ian Gary, and I think that makes sense. I think they need to figure that out. Let Belal heal his nose up, whatever. He's pretty young, so he's gonna have to get him going. But if this dude goes out there and beats someone like Shavkat Rakhmonov, we're gonna have to have a serious conversation about Belal Muhammad. Also, too, there's a reason why Islam Makhachev really always wanted that Leon Edwards fight up at 170. There's a reason why he was calling for it so quickly. Yeah, Islam, from what I saw, if Islam was in the cage, he would have beat him too this past Saturday. And I'm not trying to take anything from Belal. Islam Makhachev is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, second greatest lightweight. Gonna be it's Islam Makhachev. He may go down as one of the greatest ever, and he's already almost there. But yeah, he would have probably beat Leon Edwards that past Saturday night. But for Leon, this fight, when you look at dudes like JDM, when you look at dudes like Shavkat Rakhmonov, if he's just going to take the back foot against dudes and give up range and let dudes just box with him while his back is against the cage, he does not. I just don't see why Jack Della Maddalena couldn't just go stick a jab on him, push him against the cage, and throw big combos at him. If Belal had the success doing it, don't see why JDM couldn't try to do something like that. Shavkat Rakhmonov could replicate the same game plan, but probably this is going to be an eye-opening fight for Leon Edwards' team, because he can't be given the back foot like this against these dudes that are coming up at 170, mainly JDM and Shavkat Rakhmonov. Leon Edwards should be looking to fight like the winner of Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns. I don't think Shavkat or JDM are the best fights for him, and I really have a feeling that the UFC is going to probably try to book that JDM fight. All in all, shout out Belal Muhammad. He looked real good. Spent a little more time talking about this fight than normal, but co-main was really short. Moving on to the co-main event. Tom Aspinall defeating Curtis Blaydes via round 1 knockout. Wonder who called that one. Uh, I did pick Tom Aspinall to knock out Curtis Blaydes in round one. Um, Tom Aspinall is a highly technical offensive fighter. And can he just be a big dumb puncher? He can be a very hard punching, very big dumb puncher. I mean, he dropped him with a jab. Curtis Blaydes leaped into the pocket, so did Tom Aspinall, and Tom Aspinall hit him with the jab and then a right around the side, kind of clipped him on the ear, then got on top of him, landed a bunch of ground and pound, and the ref stopped the fight. Was it an early stoppage? Maybe, but like, do you think that would have changed anything? No. And do you think it's an early stoppage when you know that Blaydes has been stopped by Francis Ngannou twice, flatlined by flatlined by Derek Lewis, and also starched by Sergey Pavlovich? Then you're like, shit, I guess it's fine. Because the dude takes a lot of head trauma. Yeah, Tom Aspinall looked great. Curtis Blaydes, this is gonna catch Tom Aspinall. He just keeps his head straight up and down and is fearless, jumping into the pocket, landing his 1-2 down the pike. Has anyone made it? No, everyone's landed on him, and he's been unbothered. Pavlovich landed on him. Everyone he's fought has actually landed on him, really. Dudes like Tybura, not really, or Spivak, whatever. But like, he's taken big punches from Pavlovich. He's taken shots from Blaydes. Blaydes even said in his statement after the fight, I landed my hands, because he did land some good shots on the feet, and I got carried away. I guess that means his plan was to wrestle Tom. Honestly, like, Tom was like the worst fight in the division for Blaydes, in my opinion, because he can be a big dumb puncher, but he's also the fastest one there, clearly, possibly the hardest hitting. And he's got a great BJJ game. Like, that's his dad is the head BJJ coach at Calbon. So that was always a hard matchup for Blaydes. Blaydes looked bigger. Tom actually seemed a little slimmer. I know Tom's weighed in at over 260. This one he was like 251. He seemed less muscle bound and just a little slimmer in general. Didn't matter. And maybe that's how he is in fight camp. And maybe I'm remembering him when he fought Pavlovich on like a short notice fight where he couldn't even train. Couple moments on the fence where they were, fighting for position, jockeying for position in the clinch. Curtis did well there. Aspinall was actually able to get out, and then get back to striking. And petrol hands Tom just fucking lit him on fire. Like, Tom Aspinall's, this guy's gonna potentially go down as, like, he's starting to have an aura. John Jones is the heavyweight champion of the world, but he's not really. I mean, John Jones beat Cyril Gane in a terrible blunder of low fight IQ of Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane hasn't fought a fight since. He doesn't even want to fight anymore. The dude's acting in movies. He had an opportunity to headline. He had an opportunity to fight Aspinall here. So that win over, it's a great win. It's only win at heavyweight. Won the belt, vacant belt. Tom Aspinall's got a title defense. He's got a true heavyweight run with tons of finishes. His only loss was via TKO due to knee injury. He just got that one back in less than a round. Fucking flatlined the dude. Tom Aspinall is the man. And John Jones, like, all pre-fight was tweeting a bunch of John Jones is on. Someone should take his Twitter from him because it doesn't help him. But John was saying all this stuff, how he's not going to be surprised when Curtis does this, Curtis does that. Well, fuck. Now what do you have to say, buddy? I guess he tweeted out something. Well, that's supply and demand. John Jones is never going to fight Tom Aspinall. Why would he? Look at all the trouble someone like Dominic Reyes gave him with boxing. Now just churn that up to infinity. If John Jones fights Tom Aspinall, it'll be the first dude that is more athletic than him and bigger than him. John Jones has never had to fight that. John Jones has always been the bigger guy or the better athlete, and usually it's both. If he fights Tom Aspinall, that's not the case. Tom Aspinall is 6'5", so is John. Tom Aspinall at 30, I think he's 31 or 32. He's still so young as a heavyweight. Is clearly the faster and more athletic guy. One guy is peaking, and one guy, the tape shows one guy is not peaking anymore. But yeah, you look at Thiago Santos and all the success he had, and you look at Dominic Reyes and you look at all the success he had. And just because John Jones is undefeated does not mean he's a perfect fighter. He's actually pretty far from a perfect fighter. He's not a great boxer. And that's like what someone like Tom Aspinall shines in. So I could totally see Tom Aspinall giving someone like John Jones tons of fits. It's John Jones, so you never want to take that for granted. But in 2024, 2025, they fight him all over Aspinall. Times just change. But it's never going to happen. Tom Aspinall would have been more likely to get a fight with Jones off of a loss, just because that would have exposed some sort of weakness that John would have been able to hone in on. But it's just never going to happen. And it's just lame. Let Jones and Stipe fight just for, I don't know, you can make up a random belt. You did it for the BMF. Make a random heavyweight BMF belt and let them fight for it. Just the champion of the division clearly doesn't want to fight the interim champion. So just like, I don't know. Keep in mind, the second John Jones retires after he beats Stipe, if he beats Stipe, it's likely. The second he retires, all that's going to happen is second he wins, he's going to retire, whatever. And then Tom Aspinall is just going to become the champion. So, like, what's the difference? Come on. Yeah, Aspinall looked great. Not a lot to say. What's next for him? He should fight John Jones. But at this point, I don't even think it matters. Like, you just keep lining him up and he's going to keep knocking him down. So whoever he wants to fight, Volkov and Gon are rematching. If Volkov wins that fight, or not rematching, they're fighting. If he wins that fight, Volkov, he deserves a rematch with Aspinall. If Gon wins, then I guess that's probably a fight that's going to happen. It should be John Jones, not going to be John Jones. John Jones doesn't want to fight him. I completely understand that. Like, you made it this far in your career, make your calculated decision, but damn it, you're holding up the division. But Tom Aspinall is the greatest heavyweight in the world. Great win by him. Not the greatest, currently the best heavyweight in the world, but good on him. Shout out Tom Aspinall. Great win. Last fight of the card we're not going to talk about Paddy Pimblett submitting Bobby Green in the first round extremely quickly. Strange fight, but I kind of want to talk about the biggest talking point of this whole card, that being Muhammad Mokaev defeating Manel Kape via three-round decision. A couple people out there scored the fight for Kape. Bad fight. This whole fight week, there was some shenanigans in the fighter hotel where Muhammad Mokaev told Manel Kape, like, hey man, we're Muslim brothers, let's take a picture together, and then he sucker punched him. Like, I'm all for fighting out your problems. I mean, I love MMA, that's my thing. If two people are in disagreement and they can civilly agree to a fight, and if that's what's going to solve their problem and there's no weapons or anything like that involved, whatever. The state I live in, there's only 2 states in this country, and the state I live in is one of the only mutual combat states. So, like, if 2 people agree to a throwdown, y'all can do it. but that doesn't mean I'm cool with just like using your religion as an excuse to get close to somebody to sucker punch them. Like that's a real piece of shit thing to do. Um, the way this fight was bounced around the card, um, seemed like it was done in a, it was just weird. It was on the main event, then it kept getting moved down, moved down, moved down. And then the weight thing happens with Muhammad Mokaev, where the commission was just like 126. He's made weight, and then they like, it just seems like there was something else going on behind the scenes with Muhammad Mokaev. I don't know if it was his weight. I don't know if he was trying to pull out of this fight last minute. I don't know if there was a weird last minute negotiation that he was trying. I don't know what happened. Dana seemed to be in real bad spirits with the media and stuff this week, but he didn't cut Muhammad Mokaev. Muhammad Mokaev is not cut from the UFC. Stop saying he's cut. He's not cut. He is not released from his contract. His contract expired. The Manel Kape fight was the last fight of his contract, and he is not being re-signed. The PFL has a new undefeated like that just shows you, number one, that shows you how much Dana White really gives a fuck about the PFL, because they don't even have the lowest weight class they got is men's 145, which is dumb because there's a lot of really good MMA that happens at 135 and 125. Anyway, they do have some pretty good, really exciting fighters at 145, like Jesus Pinedo and Brennan Loughnane and everything, whatever. Bad fight though. I kind of wanted more to touch on all of the antics and how, I mean, a dude that's was undefeated in the UFC just kind of got let go. They're just not re-signing him. I guess his services are no longer needed. I think the UFC was like, well, Askar Askarov is coming back, and he just kind of does the same thing, but he's a lot cooler and a lot more fun, and he doesn't start tons of dumpster fires wherever he goes in the fighter hotel, whatever. Man, in a weird conspiracy theory way, when the UFC goes to these places, they run their own commission. I felt like somebody told somebody like, hey, we don't want to do fucking business with this kid anymore. We're entitled to offer him these fights. The fight's happening. Let's make this fight happen, and let's just make this kid go away. He just seemed like he was a pain in the ass to deal with. And you know, it's the UFC. They kind of play only one way. It's their way or the highway. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. That's up for you to decide. You can have your own opinion on that. Kind of don't mind them not re-signing Mokaev, because if you go look at his fights, they're just not the best MMA fights to watch. But saying that in the same breath, that also means fights like Shanna Bannon and Elise Ardeline should not happen under the UFC banner. Like, if you're listening to this, me and you could put on a better fight than that. We can be friends after, but like, yeah, any listener, we could put on a better fight than Shanna. So like, if they're not willing to re-sign Muhammad Mokaev because he's a pain in the ass and his fights are boring, there's a lot worse fighters under the UFC banner than Muhammad Mokaev that are going to put on real bad fights. You know, or you can be like Lucas Bresky and get knocked out. But Manel Kape broke his toe. I think it was like in the second round. Muhammad Mokaev cheated so much in this fight. The shorts grab. Muhammad Mokaev was grabbing the shorts of Manel Kape. Manel Kape's whole butt was out. Just like the eye poke. Mike Beltran giving him the sternest talking to. Don't make me enforce the rules. So wait a second. Aren't you here to enforce the rules? That's like if my boss calls me tomorrow. Hey, Devin, don't make me have to make you work today. Well, shit, I'm my job is to work. So yeah, I just thought it was very weird. Big rain cloud over this fight. Freaking Manel Kape is posting on the social media, I won this fight. Talking about like a phantom tap where he jumped guillotine on Muhammad Mokaev. Fuck. Like, dude, this was like you won this fight by the UFC saying Muhammad Mokaev was so bad here. We're releasing him. That's a win for you, Cop. Like, take that as a win. Like, hey, I won this fight. That guy was so boring. The UFC got rid of him. Like, you're supposed to shut up and go put your head in the sand like an ostrich, dude. Like, go hide from this. Go, your next fight, come and knock someone dead, because this is bad by you too. I guess there's some excuse with the toe break, but like this fight was so bad. Manel Kape like probably won the first round. Maybe I scored it for Mokaev because Mokaev was like kicking a lot from the outside, but like maybe Mokaev won it with like one punch. Sorry, Manel Kape maybe won with one punch. It was just bad. Like, it was just all around not a really bad fight. I think Mokaev landed like 40 strikes in total. Kape was like turning his back to him. Honestly, Kape should also be on the real short, like the real short list of dudes that might be walking away as well. Yeah, Manel Kape has just not been who we thought he is. He's not living up to his potential, in my opinion, at this point. And obviously, neither is Muhammad Mokaev. Matchmaking for Manel Kape, at this point, just use him to build up the guys that want to win fights, that out there trying to win fights. Give him someone like Bruno Silva. Give him someone like Charles Johnson. You guys made all of the old guard dudes fight Manel Kape, like you made him fight Pantoja and Mateus Nicolau. So now he needs to do the same thing. Go. Honestly, I would love to see him fight Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson just knocked Joshua Van right the F out. Charles Johnson deserves a step up. He's been fighting his ass off. Make that fight happen. Or Bruno Silva that just knocked out Cody Durden. Muhammad Mokaev, I also wouldn't be surprised if the UFC just re-signed him. Fucking, I don't know. Yeah. All around decent night of fights. Dana White's like, I'm never doing the double bonus, triple bonus thing again. 7 decisions. Yeah, bad. Gregory Rodriguez and CLD Christian Leroy Duncan, that was a good fight. Sam Patterson got a finish. McParkin got a finish finally. Decent card all around. We're going to go ahead and move on to the second segment of the show. First segment of the show is done. Now we are going to talk about the men's lightweight division. Middle segment of the show, what's hot? Paddy Pimblett has a lot to do with this conversation. Islam Makhachev just tweeted out, hey guys, I got some tendon damage in my hand from the Dustin Poirier fight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fight this year. I would love to fight in October, but right now I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm going to need some surgery. Islam Makhachev has been a fairly active champion and great and fun to watch, so I don't see why he'll get any sort of punishment for this. But now there's a lot of movers and shakers at men's lightweight. Paddy Pimblett just went out there in a fight that he's a slight underdog in, and went out there and made absolute easy work of Bobby Green. Bobby Green had a leg kick and shot a takedown. The transition from guillotine to triangle was awesome from Paddy. He did what he was supposed to do to a top 15 guy in his backyard, made a huge name for himself, made dudes like me and tons of y'all mother effers to eat some crow. It is what it is. Now there's a lot that's happening at lightweight. He called out Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano is in the main event against Benoit Saint Denis, UFC Paris. Gamrot just got matched up with Dan Hooker. Michael Chandler waiting forever. Dustin Poirier would never fight Paddy Pimblett. That just would never happen. I really highly doubt Poirier would take that fight. He's probably got one fight left in him, and it's not going to be against Paddy Pimblett. Arman Tsarukyan should be the one that's fighting Islam Makhachev. You got Charles Oliveira. You got Beneil Dariush. Tafael Fiziev is supposed to be coming back soon. So what's going to happen with this men's lightweight division when you got a guy like Paddy? He's, quite frankly, 2 wins away from a title fight. he goes out there and beats a dude like the winner of Gamrot and Hooker, and then goes out there and beats a dude like Charles Oliveira, then he gets himself a title fight. UFC would love to give Paddy Pimblett a title fight. Um, man, if Paddy can go out there and get a win real quick in the next 3 months, and Islam Makhachev's like, man, I'm out until spring, we could totally see Paddy Pimblett in an interim title fight against someone like Michael Chandler. If he goes out there and gets a win and gets one quick, this is all not likely to happen. Paddy Pimblett blows up between fights. He's not a guy that fights every 60 days. But shit, I mean, imagine if BSD falls off and they need a quick replacement. Might call Paddy. Imagine, if Gamrot's out of the fight, they might call Paddy. Paddy goes out there and storms someone's castle on short notice. He could be fighting Chandler or Sarukian for an interim title fight. That'd be crazy. What I think the UFC is going to end up doing, if this is a true injury, I don't know if they're going to make an interim title fight. If they do, I really believe it will involve Michael Chandler and Arman Sarukian. I don't know if Michael Chandler's going to wait forever. I don't think he should wait forever, because one more win just makes the fight more juicy from him. And Michael Chandler's always one fight away from a title fight. If the UFC's smart, they will likely wait for Islam and let Arman Sarukian just chill, or let him get into a fight with somebody that, that is a semi big name. Let him fight like a Justin Gaethje, and then the winner of that, can fight Islam for the belt. But yeah, I just wanted to quick chat about lightweight because it's fun. Dudes like Paddy Pimblett are inserting themselves in the division. You got dudes, between 10 and 15, like Jalen Turner and Moicano, that are out there having fun fights, looking great. And now, contrary to a lot of my beliefs, Paddy Pimblett's going to be ranked in the top 15 at men's lightweight, which is a bunch of fucking killers. So we will see what happens to him. Yeah, I'm recording this on July 29th of 2024. I am so curious to see what this division looks like in a year from now. We'll have to come back to see what happens in 2025, but MMA is exciting, and lightweight is just, top of the mountain. All right, guys, final segment of the show. In with the new, we're going to talk about UFC on ABC, Sandhagen versus Nurmagomedov in Dubai. We're going to talk about a couple fights on the card. Previous segments of the show ran long. Shara Bullet kind of got a late notice replacement. He's in the co-main. So we are going to talk about Marlon Vera fighting Deiveson Figueiredo, and then we're going to talk about Cory Sandhagen fighting Umar Nurmagomedov. First fight we're going to talk about, Marlon Vera returning after his pretty one-sided defeat to the current bantamweight champion Sean O'Malley. That was a 5-round decision loss where he kind of got shit kicked. Prior to that, he did defeat Pedro Munoz. Before that, he lost to Cory Sandhagen, who's fighting in the main event. I like what the UFC did here, just stacking bantamweights on this, because it's going to be great MMA. And if somebody falls out, they can kind of just, move the chess pieces. Before that, he knocked out Dominic Cruz, beat the shit out of Rob Font, knocked out Frankie Edgar, good win against Davey Grant, had a close fight with Aldo, and then beat Sean O'Malley. Deiveson Figueiredo, he is up at bantamweight. In his third fight at bantamweight now, he's coming off of 2 wins. First win in the division was against Rob Font, where he kind of beat Rob Font same way kind of all these dudes do. And then last time out, he defeated Cody Garbrandt via rear naked choke. Before that, he did lose TKO doctor stoppage to Brandon Moreno, and he had that crazy 4-fight quadrilogy with Brandon Moreno. Odds on this fight, and I should have read the odds from the top. I'm sorry. Odds on this fight: Deiveson Figueiredo is a slight favorite, minus 165. Marlon Vera coming back at plus 140. I agree with those odds. I don't always agree with the odds. Those odds I do agree with. This is a really interesting fight because both of these dudes are tenured guys. They've been in the UFC for a long ass time. Some of them have fought for belt. They've both have fought for belts. They've both fought previous champions. Chito Vera's fought Jose Aldo, Dominic Cruz. He's fought the current champion. Fought tons of great, incredible dudes. Deiveson Figueiredo has beaten guys like Pantoja, beaten dudes like Brandon Moreno. He's fought everybody. Freaking Cody Garbrandt, another former champ. Even though he's probably like the lowest level former champion that's like currently active on the roster, maybe, if not one of the lower level ones, if we're not including like women's bantamweight. Anyway, yeah, this is a really good fight. This fight makes tons of sense. This gives Deiveson Figueiredo a small step, but deserving step in the rankings and his opportunity to fight someone that just challenged for a title in their last fight. And then this is a good potential get back fight to show us Chito still deserves to be where he is in the rankings. X's and O's on this fight. Deiveson Figueiredo is an athletic freak. He was a huge flyweight, and he doesn't seem small for bantamweight division. He's strong, he's fast, but he's getting a little bit older. He's a guy that's got good power, but low key, like one of the best parts of his game is his submission grappling, and his speed transitioning and scrambling on the ground. That's somewhere he's always going to be good, especially being really good at that at flyweight. All flyweights can scramble. A lot of bantamweights can scramble too, but he's just going to shine here. He's going to be one step ahead of dudes here. Figueiredo last time out, he kind of got lumped up by Garbrandt on the feet. Garbrandt didn't look terrible last time out striking with Figgy. I think Garbrandt was a lot faster than he expected, but Garbrandt does have lightning fucking hands. Garbrandt can go on a shit ton of terrible losses and then still do what he did to someone like Rafael Assunção. He had some trouble there. Marlon Vera is they're both crafty strikers, but I think Chito's a little bit more crafty. He's a lot more techniques. He can throw hook kicks, axe kicks. He's got good boxing, good setups. He sets up his power really well. Even in the 5th round of the fight with Sean O'Malley, after eating a bunch of knees and incredible punches, freaking hits O'Malley with a knee to the midsection, and O'Malley's, fucking coughing up food he ate 3 years ago. So Chito can be sneaky. The way he set up that head kick against Dominic Cruz, the way he sets people up in general with his big power. Like, look what he did to Rob Font. Almost finished Rob Font like 16 freaking times in their fight. He's got a nifty way to set up his power. One thing about him, though, is he just doesn't have he's not a great grappler. He's got an okay guard. He's got an active guard, but he doesn't have a good get-up game, and he gets taken down quite easily. I think in the striking, Figueiredo can have success because Chito's not the fastest dude, but I think Chito Vera has just more tools and is a little more dangerous and a little more durable. In the last fight with Brandon Moreno before he decided to move up, Figgy, that big left hook lumped up his eye real bad, and he looked out of sorts. It got to the point where he, the cut at 125 plus taking shots just seemed to bug him a little bit. And I could see Chito having a lot of success on the feet here, but I don't see why Figgy may come out. This could look super similar to the Garbrandt fight, but maybe not end via submission, but maybe tries to strike in the first round and loses the first round because he gets hit with something he doesn't expect, gets hurt but recovers, and then goes out and grapples the next 2 rounds. I would not be surprised if Chito comes back with a chip on his shoulder. He's always got a chip on his shoulder, but if he doesn't come back with a chip on his shoulder and, tries to be violent and really ups his volume, because that's Chito's biggest problem is He's got so many tools at this striking, great kicking game, great leg kicks, good powerful boxing, good jab, good vision, pretty good defense. He's a little bit slow compared to someone like Sean O'Malley, but Sean O'Malley's really quick, and he's a good rhythm fighter. So I could see Cheeto having some success on the feet against Deiveson Figueiredo. However, what I like about Figgy and his move to 135 is that he is not afraid to use his grappling. If things aren't going his way, he can, flip the switch and get straight to his grappling. That's what he did against Garbrandt. Cheeto is more dangerous on the feet than Garbrandt, and he is way more durable, way less porous than Garbrandt. So I've got to pick Figgy to win here with his grappling. It's going to go to decision. But if he tries to stand and bang with Marlon Vera, unless your name is Sean O'Malley, that's just probably not the best idea for you if you're a bantamweight. Give me Deiveson Figueiredo in a fight I'm not 100% certain on, and I think the winner may win in a surprising way. Main event, guys. Also, this is an early card, so like if you live, I live in Pacific time zone. So if you listen to the show earlier and you listen to the mutual combat thing, and I'm telling you I live in the Pacific time zone, and there's only 2 states that have mutual combat laws, you could probably figure out what state I live in. But this card starts at early. Prelims start at 9 a.m. Main card starts at noon. So like 4 o'clock is going to be done. You can go out and get dinner, go to the lake, go to the river, go to the beach, whatever the hell you do if you're on my side of the country. It's a lot of shit left to do on Saturday, so that'll be cool. I'll probably go fishing or something when the fights are done. But we got Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Cory Sandhagen. Umar Nurmagomedov is a pretty hefty favorite here. Most lines look like he's at minus 300. Shit, I see him all the way at minus 375. That's kind of ludicrous. Cory Sandhagen's coming back at plus 240 on most of these sites that I'm looking at. Interesting fight. Cory Sandhagen should not be that big of an underdog against any bantamweight on the planet because Cory Sandhagen is very fucking good. And Umar Nurmagomedov should not be that big of a favorite against any bantamweight on the planet because he's very fucking good. This fight may change my opinion on that. So that statement can change. But as of right now, yeah, Cory Sandhagen shouldn't be that big of an underdog. And Umar, yeah, okay, there's maybe he should be a minus 300 against someone like Jake Hadley. Whatever, but you get what I'm saying. This is a good fucking fight. Like, if you are here to shit on Belal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, I get it, because neither one of them are incredibly great fighters to watch. Kind of boring, I guess you could say. Cory Sandhagen is not a boring fighter, and neither is Umar Nurmagomedov. Cory Sandhagen is actually coming off of his most boring fight, but he broke his arm in the fight and he took it on short notice. That was back in August of 2023. So it's going to be like a year. I think a year to date, actually, when they fight. Hold on. Let's check the calendar, guys. Hold on here. This fight is on Saturday the 3rd. That's hilarious. So it'll be 1 year to date since he took on Rob Font. Before that, he won a split decision against against Cheeto, which he clearly won. Before that, he had that TKO stoppage over Song Yadong. He lost to Petroyan, lost to TJ Dillashaw in a fight I think he won. Before that knockout against Frankie and the knockout against Marlon Moraes. Both of those are violent. And then he had that, real bad loss to Aljamain Sterling. That kind of seemed to turn him around. Umar, on the other hand, he is coming off of both of these guys are coming off of short notice fights, which is kind of funny. Umar took on a short notice opponent, the Kazakh Bekzat Almakan, in his last time out, won via unanimous decision. Before that, he had that incredible body kick the punch of Raoni Barcelos. This is a dude that's kind of fought I don't want to say a bunch of nobodies, because Sergey Morozov isn't a nobody, or Ryan Kelleher isn't a nobody, Nathan Maness isn't a nobody. Bekzat Almakan is actually a lot, but Cory Sandhagen has fought the names of this division so far. If you put their records against each other, you go to Sherdog.com, you can put them next to each other. But Umar Nurmagomedov is a minus 300 favorite. He's 17-0. He's undefeated. Last time out was really the only time he showed any weakness, where Beksat, who's a big, powerful guy, rocked him. But Umar was immediately able to recover and switch to his wrestling. Cory Sandhagen is a dude that is an absolute student of the game. He's going to, when he's like 50, he's going to be coaching high-level MMA probably. He's just like a brainiac about it. If you go to his YouTube channel, like if you can't afford a gym and you want to learn, I mean, I'm not telling you to learn how to strike from YouTube, but like if you can't afford a gym, or you just want, or you have a gym membership, but you want to try cool shit out on a heavy bag, or you just want to educate yourself on martial arts techniques, like go to Cory Sandhagen's YouTube. The dude he's just a brain. Like he understands fighting. There's a lot of dudes that, I don't want to say don't understand fighting, but like Cory Sandhagen, he understands fighting. He understands the mentality behind it. He understands the striking. He understands the setups. He understands range. He understands grappling. He's a very studious fighter. And that's one thing I really respect about him, because he's not like he's pretty athletic. He's tall. He uses his physical assets to the best of his ability. However, he's not like the most athletic dude. He's kind of like a scrawny, nerdy dude. You put him against Umar and you're like, who would win in a fight? Just by looks, you're going to pick Umar every time. But Cory Sandhagen is a very well-schooled fighter. The dude he's a martial artist. He's freaking assassin. He's incredible. Really, really good striking. Incredibly diverse technique. He's got spinning wheel kicks, jump knees. He's got great footwork. I mean, he's like got the Dominic Cruz 2.0 footwork. He's got really good boxing, an incredible jab, good twos. He can fight out of both stances. He's got really good uppercuts. If you try to crash the pocket on him, he can cut an angle and throw a really clean uppercut. He's now showing that he has good wrestling. After he got out wrestled, he's like, hey, I'm not going to be out grappled like that anymore. And he went and hit the mats and got better and got more proficient at grappling in BJJ. And I love that for him. That's awesome. Umar Nurmagomedov, the dude is literally like, comes from a bloodline of fighters. And when I say that, like, I really mean it. He is like Khabib Nurmagomedov's first cousin, one of the best camps for MMA that's ever existed in Eagles MMA. And he is, right below dudes like Islam and Khabib when it comes to their training. Those dudes are all in the same room, all training together, and he's very, very good. Kind of got caught slipping last time, short notice replacement, got buzzed, but was able to stay composed. I was talking about Cory Sandhagen's kicks and how good of a kicker he is. Well, Umar's probably even better. He's like one of the most, he's got so much leg dexterity. It's like kind of like Luke Rockhold. Like his question mark kick is incredible. His high kick alone is incredible. Just a really good kicker all around. And he's a great kicker because, number one, he's a freak fucking athlete. Number two is because his grappling is so good that he can freely throw things at people. That knockout against Raoni Barcelos, the body kick to the punch, the way that they were synced together, was actually really, it happened before, maybe it did. Very similar to the way that Arman Tsarukyan knocked out Beneil Dariush with just like the kick to the punch, like right away, just super freak athlete, speedy shit. Not the best boxing from Umar, and that's where he got exposed by Beksat. That's where he got clubbed by that big shot, is in the boxing. But his grappling is just so good. Good control, really, really good submissions. But we haven't really seen him. We haven't seen him fight somebody like Cory Sandhagen. He went to a decision against Beksat. He got clubbed and had the cardio to go 3 rounds and out grapple him for 3 rounds. But we haven't seen him go 5. Prior to the Nate Maness fight, the dude was on a, quite a submission streak. Cory Sandhagen is a little bit older guy. He's neither one of them are fighting in their backyard, but Umar's going to be treated like a king. He's a Muslim. This is happening in the Middle East. So he's going to have all that. So the chips are stacked against Cory Sandhagen. This fight has been booked multiple times. They're both had to pull out. So it's been a kind of an extended training camp for both of them. This is going to be a really, really telling fight because Cory Sandhagen can go out there and maybe get out wrestled for a round and a half. And then at 8 minutes into the fight, shit starts. Look, when I say 8 minutes in, I mean, first round's over 3 minutes into the second round. When there's 3 more rounds left, plus 2 more minutes, the things could start changing. Maybe he starts landing his jab. Maybe he is watching the tape and he finds and he sees something that not all of us see. Maybe him and his team see something where they can take advantage of a jump knee or like a big uppercut and hurt Umar. Going into this fight, just looking at the names, looking at the paper, looking at what they do well, I was kind of leaning Cory Sandhagen here, and the odds are just crazy. But the TJ Dillashaw all lumped up with no shoulder, even though I think TJ Dillashaw lost to Sandhagen, if you give Umar those same moments and those same instances that TJ was able to get over Sandhagen, I think Umar could have more success. He's got a really good back take game, and that's where Aljamain was able to expose him. We haven't seen anybody try to replicate that. Just walk him down, take his back, and choke him out. I don't think that could be replicated again. I think that was a great night, absolutely incredible night for Aljamain and not Sandhagen's best night. Also, too, this is going to be overseas, so this is going to be in the bigger cage. I think that the Sandhagen Aljo fight was in the Apex, so that, a bigger cage is going to favor Sandhagen here. Maybe he's going to try to pot shot. Maybe I just, especially coming off of the Belal Muhammad performance, which has nothing to do with this. But when you see dudes that have certain skill sets, I just don't. Umar Nurmagomedov is so unproven, and this is such a big step up for him. But I'm going to pick him to win this fight. There's a reason why Cory Sandhagen wants this fight, and there's a reason why he's taking it. He's seeing something that not all of us are seeing. But it's just the wrestling for me. I was going to say his wrestling shoes, but it's Sambo. Is it a gi that they wear in Sambo? I'm actually not sure. Someone correct me. But whatever it is, he's going to put on his Sambo shoes. And I think Umar's just going to show up and wrestle. He's going to chain wrestle. He's got such good top control, such good wrestling. He's going to throw kicks from the outside. If Cory Sandhagen tries to close the space, the way that Cory Sandhagen wins this fight is if he just catches Umar with something while Umar's trying to close the distance and shooting for a takedown, like a jump knee or an uppercut, or maybe some. Sandhagen just hasn't shown that his boxing. He's got really dangerous kicks and jump knees, but he hasn't shown anything in his boxing that makes him one shot dangerous. And if Umar out grapples him for 3 rounds and doesn't get finished, Sandhagen's been out wrestled. Even though he looked great against Rob Font, Umar Nurmagomedov, very different fighters, very different stages of their career. Give me Umar to win a decision. I don't think he subs him, but I think he gets a lot of ground control here. But don't be surprised if Cory Sandhagen pulls something off. Cory Sandhagen's an incredible fighter, and I hate to pick against him, but I just can't look away from the wrestling. Proficiency, deficiency. One guy does one thing well, one guy may not do it as well. Umar's not dumb. You just kind of almost have to pick Umar here. That's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the fights.